Hello, hello. Welcome to Shading White. I'm Marilyn, and today is part 2 of how to clean verdigris from your jewelry. Last week we had the what is it and what does it look like, and today we're going to try a couple different methods and getting rid of it. If you haven't been here before, my name's Marilyn, my husband's name's Barry, and we are resellers. We mainly sell jewelry, but we sell other things. And on Fridays, we are trying now to do some different things, how-tos, cleanings, introducing different things in jewelry. So hopefully that sounds interesting to you, those who have been here before. If you haven't been here, check us out and see if you would like to join us. If you didn't see part 1, we will put it over in the corner. I think it's over here. Yeah, right up there. I'll put it last week's part 1 in the corner, so when you're finished with this, you can go back and see that one. So what I have here is the 6 pieces that we had on the video last week. We did have a bracelet, but somebody purchased that. So I am adding another piece. This is a brooch, a rose brooch. And I thought this was sterling, but I'm not 100% because it really has a lot of verdigris on it. So we're going to try to clean this and see what we come up with. What we have here is water, just Dawn dish soap and water. This one's empty, and we are going to put our first one, we are going to do vinegar. So this is just all natural distilled white vinegar. It has about 5% acidity, so it's not too much. You want to just be sure not to leave anything on your jewelry too long. Acid is acid, you know. And let me show you the tools I'm going to be using today. I have just a cheap toothbrushes. I have skewers, wooden skewers. I have pipe cleaners. And then I have assorted small brushes to try to get into the small places. And then I also have a brass brush. And we have to be careful with the brass brush because it will scratch. Okay. Cheap toothbrushes, and they're like super, super cheap. All my tools I generally get on Amazon, and I think these are like 60 toothbrushes for around less than $20, and it's just good to have those around. Like I said, I don't use old toothbrushes because they could have germs and bacteria on them. I just use these. And I believe this is just dirty and the starting of verdigris. So I'm gonna see if we can just clean it. Nothing comes off. There's no fuzz on this one at all. That's the bag, completely clean. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use the water and Dawn dish soap, just mixing that up in there. And we're gonna see if it comes clean with just cleaning. And this is all metal, so we don't really have to worry too much about it. Yeah, that's really dirty. I'm gonna scrub this with just soap and water until it comes clean for a bit, and then we will go to the next step. So this is vinegar. And I can put quite a bit on here because it's just metal. And what I'm gonna do is, it came off some, but I thought, okay, let's put that back over with the vinegar. See how a lot of that came off? but not all of it. So let's try the ketchup, because this is metal, so we shouldn't have to worry about it too much. I'm not a fan of the ketchup because it's messy. The good thing about the ketchup is using it on like rhinestones, and I'm just using regular Heinz ketchup. But the good thing is when you use it on rhinestones, it's not liquid. It stays in place. So if you put it in one place, it's not going to run all over the rhinestones. And it's not the rhinestones that have the verdigris, it's the metal. Okay, so we're going to leave this on here while we work on the next piece. Next, I'm going to try this piece because it is bad. So this is a perfect piece for me to show you when I'm talking about hairy. You want to be sure to get that all off with a toothbrush that has nothing on it and it's just dry. And you want to just try to get any of that hairiness off that you can. And you can see how it's on. I'm going to go in closer. See the hairiness? And you see it already on the paper towel. There. So you want to get as much of it off as you can, dry brushing. And it's not a lot coming off, but you just want to try that as much as you can. The next stage is to use just regular soap and water and just scrub it and try to get as much as you can off. And the verdigris, when it's damaged the metal, it takes off the coating, it takes off everything. It literally can disintegrate the metal. Now we're gonna try some vinegar on it. It's in there, let me tell you. This one, I can see that it's already taken the silver tone off because we're getting through the verdigris. And you see this has got a silver tone. And then here you're starting to see the copper. I'm going to dip this in the vinegar a little bit. Get a good coating on there. And I believe this one's already damaged. All right. Let's look at this closer. Okay, so this is the coating. It's smooth. It makes it look like sterling with patina, okay? And then you get down here and it still has some verdigris on it. You can still see it. But you can see there is no silver tone in this area. It has already eaten the plating off of it. So that's, I believe this is silver plated. And this piece is pretty far gone. So that's good to be able to show you that the verdigris completely eats the plating right off. And so we're going to put this piece over to the side because now we know that it is damaged. So I'm going to go to the next piece to show you more. We're back to this piece and we're going to see if anything came off. This is just water. This the ketchup had been on for 6 minutes, and I'm just being sure all the ketchup is off. So there you go. You still have a lot of green on here, so I would go further. I'm just showing you degrees. I think I'm going to put some more on here, and I think, why don't we try the lemon juice now that this is completely has no ketchup on it. Let's try some lemon juice and see if we see any difference. Sorry. And I'm just using real lemon 100% concentrate. Who knew we were going to have to use all 3 methods on one piece? And I'm just pouring it directly on there. Pipe cleaner. Wow. We cleaned it all that well with the soap and water and the vinegar and ketchup, and still more is coming off with the lemon juice. So let's just put some more on there, and we're going to let it soak a little further. After we got off some of the black, now I am seeing green over in this area. So we're going to let this sit for 5 minutes. And remember, you want to do everything in 5-minute increments because, as I said, all of these are acid, and they will damage your platings and anything like that. So you want to be sure that do it in small increments. That way it doesn't harm any of the pieces. Now this is the one that I thought was a Miriam Haskell style with the faux pearls, and it just looks like it needs to be cleaned here. And then on the back side, you see that it's kind of white and hairy. So what we're going to do is we're going to, with our dry brush, and just remember the first step is always with a soft bristled brush to try to wipe it down to get anything loose out of there. And look at all that. That is crazy. I'm going to pull you in a little closer. So you just want to wipe all of that off with a soft bristle brush. And I can see pieces of the gold coating coming off on here. It's flakes. And this is a super soft bristle toothbrush. So that should not be doing it. This is from the verdigris that has damaged it. So then we're going to take just soap and water. We don't want to get it too wet. We want to try to clean it though. And everything, let me tell you, you want to dry everything as much as possible. And when I finish, I won't do it on the video, but when I finish, I'm going to go through with everything and use a hair dryer on low. Don't use it on high. So then the second step is simply with soap and water lightly. Don't submerge it. Just put limited amount of water in there and try to clean it off. And the best way of thinking about it is, the way I think about it is, if the piece is damaged, it was going to be damaged anyway. So why not? I don't mind losing a little bit of plating if I can save the piece. So this is just plain water. So I'm just trying to get that out of the soap. And this one wasn't green. It was white. It still has that white in there. I do not know how this lighting is doing. We are storming outside. As soon as I start this, all in here. This is all the gold is flaked off or eaten off. It has gotten down to the metal here, and under here, all of this is underneath. Now, if you clean it off, okay, and it does have that loss, you can get like gold plating and repaint it if it's a piece that you want to save. But on top of that, you have here, I don't know, let's see if you can see it right there. It has ate some of the pearl off. And let me see if you can see it better here. That you can see it's all under in here. And that still has the verdigris on it, some. And it's just gone too far. All right, so all the lemon juice is off of here. This piece has had the vinegar treatment. It had the ketchup treatment and the lemon treatment. And most of it is gone. There is still some patches, so we still have to work on that one. But that is just to show you, this is a textured brooch, and it is deep in there, so interesting to see that. I think I picked some of the hardest pieces to show y'all. Here is the brass that had the little bit of verdigris on it, the green. We're going to clean it. And on this one, I'm going to see this one wasn't hairy at all. So this one was transfer verdigris. And there you go. It's all gone. It has no damage. I thought that it had gotten damage, but it has none. Go close. And it did have just verdigris right here, but it was just a surface, and it has no damage at all. It didn't get through or anything. And this is brass. So interesting. So this is completely clean, and that is simply by using soap and water, and then a little bit of vinegar, and then a brass brush, and it cleaned it completely off. So, yay! Now this one was a really small spot right here. Yeah, it's right here. And it's just a small little place. So we're going to be very cautious with this one because it's very delicate. This is an old one. This is probably turn of the century, and it is a floral cameo. So right now I only have soap and water, just trying to clean out in there. It's just a really small spot. And then I'm going to use just a tiny bit of vinegar on this one. And like I said, if you get it early, it's not going to be doing damage. That's why you need to inspect your jewelry. They say that yearly you should go through all your jewelry and be sure that it is in good condition. It doesn't have any damage done. And if it does, take it and have it professionally cleaned. Most of us don't do that. So let me see how that looks. And this is very integral, lots of little filigree areas and wire. So I just want to be sure all that vinegar is out of there. You don't want that acid sitting in there. And once you've done that, if there is just a tiny bit of damage, not that there is on this one, but let's say that one piece that you did have had quite a bit of damage, or a little bit of damage, what you'd want to do is, instead of investing in like a paint, just a clear polish will work. And there it is. It's all gone. And it's just a beautiful little floral shell cameo with a frame that had just a spot of verdigris, and now it's gone. So that's positive. Now this piece is the one that I showed you that was a Victorian locket, or 1920s. Looks like the picture from the between 1900 and 1920s. And I want to be very careful because I do not want to damage that picture. So what I'm going to do first is just brush it, see if we can get anything off. Okay, on this, I'm doing a voiceover because I wanted to let you see that I sped it up pretty fast because it has a lot of little twists and turns, and you want to be sure to get all those little pieces out. And it is a layered locket, so you have to get each angle and also each little layer. So I did it with limited soap and water because we do not want to damage that photo, and we just kept going around and around. So I'm probably going to cut a little bit of this out because it's just a lot of repetitive cleaning. And then after I got all of that off, I went with just a little bit of the vinegar and went over it. So it cleaned up really well. So this is a beautiful piece. Always brass does, when it does have verdigris, it does clean up beautifully. Like I said, when I'm finished here, I'm going to get the hair dryer. I'm going to dry these all, even though I'm drying them very, very well. If there's just even the slightest little piece, I want to be sure that it's completely dry. And there you go. All the green gone. No damage. Back here. And it says, I didn't even see this before. It says mother from let's see, Flow and Stand, I think. Flow and Stand 41. So this is from the 40s. And it has an A with a scroll right there. That's a cool piece. And there's her picture. Probably when she was younger. Very cool. Love this. And that one is a positive. So the two brass pieces and the cameo, those actually came out the best. This was from our video on Wednesday, and it has a little, somebody purchased this one already. This was the Boar Real Cameo, and it has some verdigris right here, and she asked me if I could take care of that for her. So first off, first off, we are going to brush it to be sure that anything comes out. And this is a little different. See all the little intricate pieces. We want to get into all the little pieces and try to get out all that verdigris. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with a little bit of soap and water, try to clean it without getting on. And you can get a cameo wet, okay? Little tiny bit, you don't want to use a lot. You want to be careful what you're using on it. Do not put any acid on it. It's not necessary. There is no verdigris on the cameo. It's just on the frame. And I'm just going to use a little bit of acid on the skewer because I want to concentrate really lightly. I don't want to brush too much of the acid in there. I just want a little bit to be sure to clean it all out. This is a gold-plated piece, so I'm handling it a little bit more delicately. I'm going to dry off the clean water brush, so it's just slightly damp, and then brush it. Be sure that acid is cleaned out of there as much as possible. I'm looking at the back side to be sure it's not on the back side. And that's what you have to do, is you have to keep going back, being sure that it's all out with a loop. Don't overdo it. Be very, very patient. Patience is the biggest thing in any jewelry cleaning, repair, anything like that. You want to just keep going into it, small little increments until you get them all out. And that's also when you're cleaning a cameo, the best way of doing that is getting a Q-tip, slightly dampening it, and then just raking it across, and you can clean out all the crevices. If you have, I've had them super, super dirty before, but that's all you do. And there you go. Beautiful. And the last piece I'm going to do is this little fuller snail, and it's really, really cute. It's just a costume piece, but it has some verdigris on the face and the back. So we're going to just see if we can brush it off and see if anything comes off. And that's the good thing about the pipe cleaners. You can move them and make a brush, make a cloth with them. Okay, that's as much as I can get off there. I'm gonna see if I can scrape some off. Because it's pretty built up. But it is coming off just with the skewer stick. And be sure, if you're doing this and you're using a skewer stick or a toothbrush or any tools, be sure you either throw them away or clean them. That's why I like using the skewer sticks and these cheap toothbrushes, because after this, I will throw it all away. All right, so I cleaned off a lot of that green. So just with the water, I'm gonna dampen it a little bit. And then I'm gonna use the Dawn dish detergent soap. Amazingly, I do not think we have any damage on this one. That's why I wanted to show y'all, because all the ones that we were doing, it had so much damage. I wanted to show you cleaning it without damage. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of the vinegar and just wipe it down. The soap. Water. And be sure that, like I said, with the ketchup, it's best to use that on rhinestones because it's not going to move around and you don't have to worry about it damaging it. But be sure that you clean that completely off. It is messy and you want to be sure that it's completely cleaned, it's dry. Every bit of that ketchup is gone. Same thing with the lemon juice, same thing with the vinegar. You want it completely all out of there and wiped off and with water gotten off. And there we go. Isn't that too cute? It had the verdigris on the nose, on the pin back, all along the neck, and it's all gone. And a gorgeous little snail fuller brooch. So good things and bad things here. Let me clean up a little bit. Any of the things that I am going to keep, here's the vinegar, and I'm soaking this because this is my brass brush, and I want to be sure that I've cleaned it extremely well, gotten out any of the verdigris in any of the brush, and then be sure to clean it with soap and water, and also water. And be sure you dry it very, very well. Okay, so that's our demonstration. I think I need to spend a little bit more time on this one. I see a little bit more verdigris right here that I will continue to clean off. Yeah, right there, I missed a spot. This piece turned out great. The snail turned out great. The floral cameo turned out great. And thank you so much to Victoria for allowing us to use her cameo in the demonstration. These pieces, not so well. They were too far gone. I had a feeling of that, but I wanted to try anyway. The Miriam Haskell style has quite a bit of damage underneath, and I mean, I can continue to try to see if I can get more off, but I probably will not. This piece has an enormous amount on it, and it has affected the metal. And this piece also has the stem part is all copper coming through. You can see that the verdigris is really, really bad on that. In fact, this one is still so pretty bad. I'm going to put that in a bag. And, but there you go. What did you think? Did you enjoy this? Hopefully you did. Hopefully you learned something. The one thing I would say that if you can't find the skewers in your local grocery department, you can get extra long toothpicks. Toothpicks are also fine to use. I always have those in my little toolbox. And how I would finish this up is pretty well saying, be sure that you clean your jewelry. Be sure to clean the little tiny bit of green off the back of your earrings before they get bad. If it's still kind of like, the best way of saying it is kind of liquidy, you're fine. But all of these here were still just, the snail actually had the worst, starting to get a little hairy. The rest of them weren't hairy. This one had the hairy verdigris on it. So did this one, and so did these. So once it hits that stage, it starts really affecting the integrity of the metal. So be sure to do your best on doing it early. And as far as ketchup, be sure to use sparingly. It is best for rhinestones. Vinegar is good for glass beaded pieces. And use, as I said, toothpicks. Those are just the better, or cotton swabs to get into tiny areas. Be sure you never soak your sterling or gemstones. Never soak rhinestones unless they're open bag. Foil rhinestones you have to be very, very careful with. Glue you have to be very careful with. Silver plate have to be very careful with. And the most important thing I can tell you is be sure your jewelry is dry. That moisture is what causes the problem. And any of these remedies can cause plating loss. However, it is better than losing the whole piece. Do not use any of these methods on pearls. So hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day with us, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.